This was a Saturday Morning Hustle Flashback episode.
I am fired up. I got a 6-pack of donuts, a whole pot of coffee, and I'm ready to go today. But I know some of you out there aren't as fired up as I am. That's right, people are still procrastinating. It's the killer of dreams. It's the ender of bad ideas, unfortunately. It happens, but we got to get over it. This is the time of year. This is it. This is New Year's. Everyone makes resolutions. You set your business goals. You reset your budget for the year. Everything's fresh right now. You have no excuses to not go for it with whatever it is you're trying to do, whether it's something you're currently working on that you want to make better, like a business or your role in a job you have, or in your personal life, in your relationship with your significant other, with people in your family, friends, etc. Anything that you've been telling yourself you need to be better at it, you can do that right now if you stop procrastinating. So if you're working on personal goals, set those New Year's resolutions right now to make yourself better in 2018 and dedicate yourself to not procrastinating. And I'm betting a lot of you are going to set the same goal this year that you set last year, but you just haven't done it yet. This is the key. This is the point of today's Saturday Morning Hustle is you have to stop procrastinating. There's a great Chinese proverb that I love. I say this all the time. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is right now, today. That means there's no perfect time, people. There's never a perfect time and a perfect scenario to do that thing you want to do, to get a new job, to launch a business, to ask that person out you've been thinking you want to go on a date with, doesn't know you're alive. Whatever it is, there's no perfect scenario. The universe isn't going to align for you. You have to make it happen yourself. So the only way you do that is to do it. Stop waiting and go do it. If you are running a business or considering a startup, right now you should be creating business goals. You should be projecting what you could do and what you would want to do in 2018. And of course, goals have to be realistic, measurable, and attainable. That's how they work. You can't set a goal that this year you're going to do $1 billion in business, because there's no point in setting that goal. You have to set your goals high, but not so high they can't be obtained, measured, and then put a timetable into. Therefore, you can see how far along you are into it, because you don't meet your goals in day 1 or day 2 or day 7 or day 55. You have to keep going with them. So beat procrastination. Set goals for yourself or on a business or some other type of activity. Do this without thinking about waiting for the perfect time, but doing it now. Just get started. The mistakes you make along the way are probably forgivable. Trust me. You can mess something up, but at the end of the day, doing nothing is worse than doing something not perfect. So go for it. Don't sit and wait for the right scenario, the right perfect time. The time is now. Make a plan and then execute with zero excuses. That's all there is to it. It's better to start, have some failures, learn from them, and get better so that when things do align for you, you're ready, than it is to sit around, think about it, talk about it, and then next year on 2019, you're setting the same goal again, or you're still talking about that business you're going to launch, or quitting that job you hate to go get the one you really want. At the end of the day, stop procrastinating, get up off the couch, get up out of whatever it is, eat your donut, drink your cup of coffee, get to the gym, whatever it is you need to do, get motivated and get it done. Go for it.
This was a Saturday Morning Hustle Flashback episode.
Hope everyone's having a great morning today. I know I am. I'm actually extremely fired up to talk to you guys today about what I call the blank page theory. This is something that all creative professionals need to know, understand, and utilize on a regular basis. But everyone else, anyone in any job you're doing, can take this theory and apply it to how you approach your job, task, art form, etc. Anything that you're trying to do. Because at the end of the day, everything starts with a blank slate, a clean piece of paper, if you will, of how you go from point A to point B. Now, the first thing you do is start filling up that paper with where you are at point A. And I literally do this as a creative exercise when I am working on creative problems and programs. So if I'm painting a painting, or if I'm designing a brochure, or if I'm writing a business plan for one of my clients, I always start with a blank piece of paper and I start writing frantically. Every idea sort of throwing up on the page, if you will. Some people call it brainstorming, but it's less about wild ideas and more about sort of where I am, point A, the starting place. Assets I have in place, the pros and cons, the strengths and weaknesses, etc. If you're in a business plan, if you're going to paint something, if you're going to sculpt something, you got to just grab a pencil, grab a pen, grab a Sharpie, whatever it is you like, and just start sketching it out, getting real basic ideas of curves and corners and blocks. And it's the same thing when you have to solve a problem. You have to start with a blank slate. Please don't ever go back to here's how we've always done it. You can learn from experience and utilize your experience, but don't get stuck or handcuffed by your past experience in solving problems or approaching something for your business, or even a task, even a really small task. Sometimes if you'll start from the beginning, think about it from point A through point Z, and really examine if every single one of those steps, every single one of those touches, every single thing that you do in that process is the best way and necessary. Somewhere along the way, you have an opportunity to either improve it or skip things that are unnecessary, because those small touches, those extra steps in between end up taking you time, effort, etc. In the business world, those touches cost you money. So start with a blank piece of paper. Start with a blank idea, a fresh idea. Start with there are no preconceived notions. Then start putting in what you know. Assets you have in place, where you are, what point A is, and your past experience, things that has worked for you in the past. Now, at the other side of the paper, finish line. Write down what it is you're trying to accomplish, what you need that finished piece to be, even if it's as basic as it needs to be a brochure, it needs to be a painting. I know that sounds silly to say I'm going to start with a blank canvas or a blank piece of wood and end up with a painting. But once you write down it ends in a painting, you can start describing it's an abstract that is bright and colorful, or it is a figurative that is dark and moody. It is going to be literal or not. It's going to be in the style of X, Y, or Z, etc. So that first basic concept of where you are and where you want to be allows you to backfill all the details to create the process that gets you from the beginning to the end. This is what a blank sheet of paper allows you to do. And having an open mind and open to the process and actually falling in love with the process, this is the real key. Be in love with the creative problem solving process. When you fall in love with the process, this part is really easy. And this blank page exercise could take you 1 minute, 30 minutes, 2 weeks, hopefully not more than 2 weeks. But it's not something that has to be done very fast, and it isn't something that has to be done over days. It depends on what problem you're trying to solve, what you're trying to accomplish. The bigger the task, the longer this period is. But you can't finish until you start, decide where you are in the beginning, where you're trying to go to, and then you can designate the steps. That's the process. That's the part you got to fall in love with. I hope you do. We'll see you next Saturday on the Saturday Morning Hustle, and until then, good luck. So I've actually had a very funny morning today. I'll share because I'm not letting it get me down. I started off with a flat tire this morning, which I had to air up in my driveway, which is fine because I have an air compressor, but it was super cold and it was very flat. I'm hoping it's still up when I leave the office later this afternoon. And then I just spilled half a pot of coffee all over the break room. It took me like 10 minutes to clean it up. But I kept my cool, didn't burn myself, got it cleaned up, and literally got it cleaned up right as the cleaning crew was showing up they're cleaning the entire building, and they were telling me like, oh, you didn't have to do that, but I really did. I felt bad that I made such a mess, and even though they were coming in to clean right after me, I couldn't just walk away from that. That wouldn't be right. That wouldn't be very adult of me. So these things should be setting me back, but I'm in such a good mood today. I'm not. So I thought I wanted to share that with you guys. I hope you guys are having a great Saturday. Have a great weekend.
This was a Saturday Morning Hustle flashback episode.
I'm in the office today. It's Saturday. I'm trying to get some stuff done. In fact, that's exactly what I'm doing today is getting stuff done. It's the little things. I'm testing microphones in our podcast studio. I'm testing camera angles. I'm testing all kinds of equipment, lights, etc. I'm doing some planning today. I'm doing some projections. I'm doing timelines. I'm doing all the small stuff, all the things that you never get a chance to do Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. Yeah, if like people, like entrepreneurs actually work 9 to 5, right? But the things I can't do 9 to 5 because the phone is ringing, emails are pinging, I got client meetings, I got people coming and going, I have people in the building, all kinds of things are happening Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. There's a lot of expectations in normal business hours. And you really can get lost in the small stuff and feel like you don't get anything done at the end of the day unless you take some extra time, like on a Saturday, Sunday afternoon, staying late one day a week, coming in early one day a week, whatever it is. For me, I like to do it on Saturdays. Saturday morning, come in, I do the small stuff, I move things, I clean things, I get things organized, I make my plans for the week. I'm really visual, so I have to put my stuff out in front of me. I lay out my folders and my work documents and any of my support material. I put it all in front of me. I've got my calendar. I've got my circled items for the week that are really highlights I can be prepared for, client meetings, events, things like that, and really get myself prepared for Monday morning to hit the ground running. I also do the same thing at home. You know, I get my personal calendar out. I get my calendar on my computer out. I write myself notes. I'm a huge note guy. I write Post-it notes like crazy. Should take stock and post it. But I make plans. I make to-do list. I put my tools together. I put my assets together. I put a list of things I don't have together. I put timelines together. I know it sounds like a lot. It sounds like I'm real anal about this stuff. But little things like that, like putting a to-do list together with what you have, what you don't, putting things in priority, especially things like projects, video projects, audio projects, putting together podcast shows, video shows, etc. You have to think about all the components, all the pieces that go into it. Sometimes you need to go get something. You need a stock footage, you need some sound, you need a background track, you need to do some research. Definitely, if there's something that you need to do some research on, if you have a client meeting on Monday morning, you'd better do your research on Friday afternoon or Saturday, or at the worst on Sunday. And by research, I'm not talking about being a stalker, but you need to know a little bit of something about who you're meeting with, about what their company is all about, what it looks like they're trying to accomplish, and what it looks like based on things that they've put out in the world, marketing, their website, their social media, etc. How you might help them if it's a client meeting. If it's the other way around, if they're meeting with you because you need something from them, make sure you understand what their offering is. And if you don't understand, have those questions in place so that when you do meet with them, you have a conversation, ask questions, they can ask you questions, etc., and make an efficient meeting. But those things don't happen if you don't think about it on Tuesday or Wednesday, that by Friday or Saturday you have to be prepared for your Monday meeting. And you show up, you're sipping coffee, and you're both staring at each other like, why are we here? You both feel like you wasted your time. I know it's a long ways of going about it, but being prepared is very important if you're going to be a professional, and if you're going to be an entrepreneur, if you're going to be a small business, if you got a startup, if you got a side hustle, if you're just going to be the best employee at wherever it is you work now. That's never going to happen unless you're really organized, really prepared, and you don't miss opportunities. So doing the small stuff is how you get over on these opportunities. It's not glamorous to clean the office and organize your files and set the calendar for the week, but it is efficient and effective. And at the end of the day, that's where you can really make strides, set yourself apart from other people, and really be the best at what you do, whether it's for your own business or for someone else, is being organized, being effective and efficient. Now, that doesn't mean you have to organize yourself down to the minute, because it takes the spontaneity out of things, and it gets you too panicked on structure and schedules as opposed to listening to people in conversation and having a workflow that provides what's needed and not what you planned on last week when you were thinking about it ahead of time. But it's getting the small stuff done. Get your assets in place, then go to that meeting, and it's going to be a more effective, efficient meeting, and it'll allow you to be open-minded and listen in that meeting and not worried about schedules and what happens next, because you know you're already prepared. There it is, folks. Take that, get prepared, do well for yourself, and we'll talk to you next Saturday on the Saturday Morning Hustle. Until then, good luck. Those of you who are old enough to remember this phrase, be kind, rewind, that remember it was back in the day when we had VHS tapes. So you rented tapes from Blockbuster and you had to rewind it so that the next person could start playing the video and the movie in the right spot. I think today we need to be saying, be kind online. I'm seeing so many people just use social media and other online portals to just pick fights and be mean and to act like someone who has a different opinion of them is evil, is terrible, is deserving of awfulness, whether it's name calling or saying they should be physically attacked or sent away from our country or not allowed to express themselves, all kinds of things. I'm not talking about defending Nazis or anything like that. I'm talking about people who are having differences of opinion on civic issues and cultural issues and, of course, obviously politics. And there's a time for arguments, and there's a way to do it. There's a way to have debate. But there is so much anger and so many people just finding any reason at all, one word out of place, one comma out of place, to attack people, to demean people, to impugn them, to claim that they're not worthy of discussion or of being in a conversation with civilization. It's really crazy, y'all. So, again, when people are out of line, call them out and aggressively challenge things that are completely out of line, or out of norm, especially when people are attacking other people or bullying, etc. Because a lot of bad things happen when people are bullied or harassed, especially by a group. But don't find every small reason to jump on people. Don't find a reason to attack people. Find reasons to connect with people. Find ways for us to have correlations, to have commonality. That's what the social and social media is for, is to be social. So find people that are like-minded, or at least mostly like-minded like you, that you can get along with, that you can have some conversations with. Maybe you can talk about the 20 or 30 or 40% that you don't agree on in a civilized way. And stay away from all those flame wars and all of these people who just want to grind people down. It's just so tedious, and it's actually, in my opinion, just killing social media. So be kind online. Good luck with that. See you next week.
It's Saturday. I'm in the office. You know what that means. The Saturday Morning Hustle podcast. No hyperbolic hustle culture, just brutally honest, straightforward business advice and motivation every Saturday for entrepreneurs, business owners, or anyone pursuing success. You can't just work 9 to 5 Monday through Friday and hope to become the next big thing. You gotta work smart, work hard, put in extra effort while everyone else is sleeping, playing games, or wasting time. Maximize bonus time to get more work done. This podcast is for anyone willing to come in early, stay late, hustle on the weekend to be truly